Okay. No. Alright, there we go. Disconnected right out the gate. Today we're talking about framing and structures. Framing and structures. Framing and structures. Why framing and structures? Framing has been on my mind. Frames of things, being framed, putting frames around things. What goes around comes around. Two swords, building structures, creating these things in duality. What is it that we're structured to do? How are you framing your belief systems? That's one. Why not foundations? Have we talked about foundations? Foundations become the base of something, right? In order to have a frame or structure, you have to have a foundation on which to build on. But we're not talking about that. We're not talking about what's at the bottom. We're talking about what's building up around. King of Swords into portals and decisions. What are we reaching for with this Two Swords? Is there duality? Is that why this is so complicated? Five of Cups. Five has to do with changes and emotions and emotional changes, framing things out of emotional stuff, or being framed to have your blood spilled. Oh, that feels weird too, doesn't it? Seven of Cups. Lots of cups, emotional stuff. I kind of want to look up the definition of framing. I was going to do it first, but I didn't. If you jump on and have questions, you can ask questions. But I have a feeling if you're trying to create a new structure and build a new structure and you're in a similar place, then it's like waiting for timing. But that frame is super important, or how you put the frame around something is going to emphasize or draw attention to or bring awareness to something. Knight of Swords. So what is it that we're trying to bring our attention to? Knight of Cups. It's like cups versus swords, emotions versus intentions. So if you're going to frame things in such a way, we have to reframe how we view emotions. That's a thing that keeps popping up because people are so afraid of emotions. Or we've been conditioned to fear emotional expression as if somehow it will rock the structure or unnerve the structure. But there's harmony in being able to balance out some of these light sides and these dark sides. I mean, if it's only one-sided, the structure falls, or things become hidden. Like the moon, it doesn't rotate, it doesn't change. There's a dynamic to it. Nine Swords, you juggling all these different dynamics. Swords trying to bring a structure down, trying to burn something down. That resurrection that can be rebirthing as well, recreating something within a new structure, having to release something and let something go. This is the new chapter, so let's read out of the book. Which one am I going to be drawn to first? This one here. The way things are presented is super important. Keeping your head held high. But there's a unification here too. Speaking from the heart in a creative way, or communicating in a creative way, or communicating creative new structures is going to be kind of key. There's a lot of angst and anxiety in this space, so if you're feeling destabilized, it's attacks, like there's emotional attacks, or like things trying to unnerve you emotionally that you have to stand strong within. There's their strength card. Leaning Tower of Pisa comes to mind. What is coming in, what is coming out, in with the light, out with the dark. But if there's a crossroads, or there's a structure here at this crossroads, maybe this structure at this crossroads is something that's blocking you, or you have to overcome some sort of battle or condition to get you to the other side. What is on the other side of this wall? What is hidden? Let's go to Cups. Maintaining emotional imbalance is going to be important. A bold idealist yearning for a utopia of compassion and truth. A utopia, framing utopia around a basis. I'm curious to know what this portal is about, or why there's like this galactic influence, or this outer space nature thing happening. Conquering space, trying to overcome space, acquire space. Acquiring space and building the frame and the structure around it. Wouldn't it be nice to have space? I miss having my own space so bad. So bad. It's dark and heavy space in here again today. But it's also light and invigorating. There's a lot of releasing. We'll come back to that one, okay? The Knight is the reckless pursuit of deeply held ideals and the willingness to sacrifice comfort or logic to achieve what is felt to be right. Self-sacrificial, but always for a cause. The Knight represents the knife. The knife? Why does it keep coming to the knife? What are you cutting? Cutting out? An often tenuous balance of opposing forces. If you have a strong framework or strong framing, the structure is going to be able to withstand the forces outside of it. Desire to change the world while at the same time being deeply hurt by it. Something about changing the world came up earlier too. You have the power within you to make a difference. The world is always changing, so how do you change something that is always changing? You can't change it to not change. It's embracing the flowing aspects of it. Embracing the change in the flows. Let's look at this because it's so intense, it's so red. Strife and disillusionment, emotional conflict, must let go of an unfulfilled expectation, even if it is painful for you. The Five of Cups invites you to see people as they are, not as you hoped them to be. Letting go of the idealized vision is painful but necessary. Take a moment to mourn the loss of what could have been, but accept that which is. Reframing things to cultivate conscious, co-creative communities. Tenuous balance, having to re-navigate things, having to do the difficult work. Look at what the Seven of Cups is, because I think emotional fulfillment and wholeness is something that you're looking for. There's 5 points on our star here, and then there's 7 points to our star here. So evolving up the emotional ladder. Maybe this is our moon as well. Something about the moon, full moon, offers a glimpse into the possibilities, the first rush of freedom after you resolve an issue that was holding you back, an escape from restrictions, oppression, or trauma. Now it feels like anything is possible. Drunken imagination, dancing unfettered and a bit too wildly. This is a time of big dreams and ideas, but without grounding them in reality. So it's important to ground these aspects into reality and creating this frame and creating this structure. And how this framing is going to come up with, like, whatever. It's like I keep catching glimpses of what I want it to look like and what it's going to be. But again, there's that wall and there's that block of trying to get through to the other side. I don't want to look at wands and discs yet. Maybe we'll come back to wands and discs. Let's take a look at our swords and the conflicts and the battles. Like, I don't want to take a look at discs, but it's here. Princess of Discs. And this is talking about manifesting things in a material sphere. So taking these ideas and concepts and these dreams and these even illusions and bringing them into a forefront. So we'll take a look at this guy here, this princess here. A generous and loving person. More abstractly, the ability to manifest your dreams in the material sphere. I mean, this is possible. I mean, absolutely you can do this. But there's these conflicts that we have to overcome, but sure, you can manifest this into a physical sphere. The start to a fruitful journey, the first efforts you put into manifesting your goals. Resources are available for you to use. The way forward is laid out, and you're being encouraged to proceed. Framing. The frame is there to build the structure, to create the structure. The foundation's already there. So long as you're connected and grounded into the material world, the real world, into reality. Looking for objective truth and reason. I don't feel like this is going to relate to a whole lot of people, because I feel like maybe there are some people that are still at this foundational aspect, or that are not looking forward to these opportunities that are presented in front of them, or that are just avoiding the emotional stuff altogether, perhaps because they're caught up in this crossroads moment, a decision you must make yourself, and it's important that you do. This isn't a decision that somebody else can make for you. This came forward in, something about this energy came forward in the last one, about authenticity. If you're going to be authentic, yes, I'm choosing this, I'm making a decision for myself in order to do this. You can't stop me or prevent that from happening. The options are clear, but you might not have all the information about the consequences. Consequences could be good or bad. Something about the outcome, something being blocked again, or just being withheld. You're capable and ready to make the choice. Trust your judgment. Maybe this is a blind leap of faith, or going into something based on your experiences, or based on the foundation for which your belief systems have been created. But there's a lot to juggle here. There's a lot of things outside of you, I think, that are wanting to convolute, overwhelmed by options as you overanalyze. Well, yeah, it's going to be difficult, especially in this imaginative space. You've extrapolated all the possibilities, and the outlook seems grim. For better or worse, you must reach the heart of the matter. Surrounded by anxieties, you've become trapped in a cycle of negative thoughts. Remember to step away for a while. No problem can be solved by obsession. So again, a lot about anxiety blocking things. Maybe that anxiety is there because somebody has framed something in such a way, or is trying to frame you in this emotional way. Or if in having this emotional release or this emotional outburst, something here about this. Our weather is shifting quite a bit today. I'm hoping it's going to rain, but it is quite stormy. There is a maybe an anxiety about the near future, about not having enough, things coming apart. And kind of getting through this difficult aspect, or getting through this difficult cycle. A lust for life and the desire to try new things. You have to want to try something new. That's part of the framing. I've noticed the kids lately, the theme has been around, I've never tried this before, try something new, you just might like it. That came through authenticity as well, and gaining new insights, interacting with people you wouldn't normally interact with, or doing things in such a way that will help you to shift the way your perceptions are working or not working. No direction or course of action has been defined yet. And the way you frame something, framing is defining, and if you haven't defined something for you or direction to go, and it's up ahead, it's through these insights that you can gain. The princess is the unbridled energy of possibility, unfurling a map, starting an adventure at level 1. The barriers that once prevented you from taking this leap are burning away. So whatever those barriers are, they're burning away, they're going away, they're disappearing. I think part of it is the trust in the process. Anticipating something. We have Knight of Swords to King of Swords. We go Princess, Knight, King. We're elevating. And through this direction, something about looking back. Lions don't look back at little dogs that are barking. This guy's looking back, though, not necessarily looking forward. Maybe it's too bright. It's not something that can, like it hurts. Like if you look into the sun, you look towards a bright light, like it kind of like, it's blinding, right? But that doesn't mean that nothing is there. It just might be hard to define where the road is or where the edge is, and you just kind of have to trust the process. Something about this horse. I mean, he's standing on his hinds too, so maybe he's trying to avoid something, overcome something, getting ready to jump over some sort of obstacle. But you feel like you have to watch your back. Feeling like you have to watch your back, that anxiety of having to watch your back because somebody has framed you or tried to frame you or tried to create situations to make you look bad. If you don't have the right frame around an image or around a picture, it's not going to look right. It's going to detract or distract. We don't do the elaborate framing that we used to. If you go into these art galleries that have older collections from the 1500s, 1700s in there, you have these very elaborate frames, and there's just as much emphasis and work and beauty going into the frame around something. And anymore these days, people want to create a framework that makes their home look better, makes their the structure, or somehow resonates with the structure, although the frame you put around it might not be the original frame, or they might undo the framing or take the framing off. Where are we, Knight? Sharp-minded and bold, the Knight of Swords embodies the joy of an intellectually stimulating argument, bestowing nimble and keen treaties. This is the art of persuasion, practiced with moral ambiguity. Debate me. The Knight assertively strives towards a goal without enough consideration for its implementation or who it will affect. Is it better to be right or to win? Just the battle and the chaos. I mean, what's right for you might not be right for somebody else. somebody's trying to argue with you or trying to create these arguments to catch you off guard, and just arguing for the sake of arguing, or arguing to try and win something. And again, I'm not really sure what all this competitive energy is about. That came through in the last one too. There's all this competition, and it's a little unnerving, like somebody has to win or win at all costs, and will frame a situation towards their own benefit, which of course would leave you anxious and feeling anxious. So we jump into our king energy, a person of dispassionate reasoning or dry facts and intellectual pursuits, looking for the objectification, which is why journaling is so important, which is why writing things down or collecting data is very important. The empirical side of things, do your research, do your homework. For the King of Swords, the scientific method is law. When referring to a person, the king is an expert in their specialized field. This card encourages you to approach a situation via intellectual means. Gather raw data as a thought experiment. What if you looked at the problem objectively, just pros and cons? There's so much of this emotional stuff that is happening, and everything we popped up to is like cups, looking through cups, emotional strife and conflict, and things trying to unnerve you or trying to frame you in such a way where your emotional reaction is going to benefit the other person, not benefit you. So stay objective. Don't get caught up in the arguments, because the arguments are there to try and unnerve you intentionally, to try to destabilize you, so you're not sure which way to go and not sure which direction to take. It all seems fairly nefarious and kind of, again, disorienting, these pressures and these things around the world, which is why, of course, it's going to take great strength to overcome it. But strength, emotional intelligence, yes. And balance, 3 swords, being able to hold things back. It's going to take an aspect of truth and justice. Also, if there are, on our pathway here, these 4 different roads and 4 different directions to go, 3 of these opportunities or 3 of these directions are swords in conflict and battle. So hold up. Only one of these opportunities is going to give you what you're looking for. So being able to find the balance, or maybe it is writing out the pros and cons in a situation. The pros to staying, the pros to leaving. But this is also about loss and disappointment, because you can't have it all. And sometimes if you're caught up in these illusions that these people or places or opportunities or things are good for you or have your best interest in mind, or you're falling into the structure, you're being led into the structure where the framing is weak or meant to collapse in on you, you need to be mindful of that. You have come to the understanding that you can go no further down the path you're currently on, and a tough decision is before you. I mean, you can't keep going in the same direction. Things are blocked. There's no forward direction to go. You have to pick a new opportunity, which is why we go into the transformation guide, which is why the transformation guide is created, to help create these maps and orientations to set you into your right direction, huh? That makes sense? That resonates? Cutting off people. Painful or harsh words have been spoken that cut to the quick. This is a sobering reality check. Disillusionment from your expectations, or have expectations. And especially when it comes to sharing your dreams with other people, this is where people can try and cut you down to try and keep you in this state of mind or in this place that you're already at, because it serves them. So having to look at things from another perspective is going to be very important, or kind of keeping things hidden or keeping certain things to yourself so that other people can't try and take you off your path or try to redirect you. Let's look at the Hangman, and then I think I'm going to pull out of, let's do our messenger oracle. We'll look for animal messengers. We'll kind of get some direction about where we're going, because we can only pick one. The others are not going to be giving us the opportunities or the things that we're looking for. So if we're going to take another perspective, it's going to have to be one, yes, follow your heart, but use the logic and the reasoning and the rationality, that scientific method to deduce what's really going on here and to find that harmony and to find that balance. 10, 11, 12. Something about a dozen. 6 to one, half dozen to another. It took me a really long time to understand what that meant. But basically, people are getting in these arguments and these conflicts trying to describe something different, or they're using different words to describe the same things, but they're getting caught up in the words that they're using, but it's still the same thing that they're looking at. Halting at the crossroads. This is that stop at that crossroads, right? So here we are at a crossroads, and now we have to halt, right? Whether it's forced or not. This is Odin, hung from the world tree to gain wisdom. It's time to seek a new perspective and cultivate patience. Patience pays. Wait, good things will come. Consolidate, concentrate, just be you. This has been a theme through these the last several months. I mean, this has been something that has followed me around for years. Okay, but there's this block we have in being bombarded by immediate reinforcement, that we're looking for immediate reinforcement, and if we're not being reinforced immediately, it's creating this anxiety, but detracting us from where we're supposed to be going. Cultivating patience is going to be incredibly important because it has to be in divine timing, not your timing. It's not about ego, right? There's something bigger up ahead. This card invites you to look beyond. It is the outer planets of the solar system, which represents dream, upheaval, death. The outer limits of your understanding have been reached. Again, with outer space, the outer limits of your understanding has been reached. And you've got to this point and this limitation, right, where you recognize that you know nothing, right? Or what you thought you knew is not at all what it is, and you have to take another look at a situation to get a full perspective of what's going on, because your heart is blinding you or distracting you. So wait. You are on top of the cusp of a new reality, but you must wait for it to present itself, or until your own understanding has grown enough for you to recognize what it means for you. I'm trying to see if I can recognize the symbol on top of that, but I don't know that it's entirely relevant. But you're here and you just have to wait and be patient, because you're going to be guided. There's something here, right, where like waxing, waning, on, off. What if there are 2 on switches and things never turn off? Oof. Then you're stalling, delaying your advancement down the path out of fear, or because something out of your control, maybe avoiding reflection or rest by keeping yourself busy. A period of waiting your experience is not necessarily helpful or needed. Your time of waiting is nearly over. It'll happen. You just have to get into the silent space, into the space of meditation and reflection and understanding. Venus, water, Jupiter, water. Let's look at this. Yep. And then I think we'll go into women of science today. We'll do women in science instead of the art oracles. Why women in science? Because we're talking about this empirical side of things, looking at the rationality, the logic, the science. Science is important. Art and science kind of go hand in hand. can't really have one without the other. The science of art, the art of science. Oops. Let me do that here for you. Interesting, on the back of this guy here, we have our 5 here. And if we go back to, where are you? Our 5 cups. Okay, we're going to figure out what this emotional clarity is about and try to get some insight into what this big change is all about. Because this is what this is. This is in regards to transformation. It's in regards to doing something new. In regards to taking a new path, a new step, a new journey. I mean, even politically, this is new. This is a new phase. We're not really sure which direction things are going to go in. But ultimately, it's not up to the political positions. It's up to the individuals, and it's up to the belief systems. It's up to the framing, building up these structures and creating new structures. This could be structures collapsing, things crumbling, aspects of war coming through, something new to be built. Things kind of have to burn down. How do we do so in such a way that's not so catastrophic? I don't know that we can. I mean, there's going to be a lot of loss. There's going to be a lot of bloodshed. There already has been globally on some scale. And it's this shifting and this understanding. Nurture all you love. Okay? Nurture all that you love. And think about that, because we get into these spaces of anxiety and tension and discernment. I even want to say neglect. What is being neglected? And this is a dragon, a water dragon. This is the year of the dragon. We're talking about waters and dragons in the new year to step into a lot of this energy. Observe in silence comes into mind here too. If you, it's part of that patience phase wave. If you're getting lost in these conversations, or if you're getting lost in these arguments and just the battle of wits, battle of ego, you're not going to be able to hear, like, you know, when you're walking across the street, in some places they have the crosswalk buttons that are for visually impaired people, so you can hear crosswalk on or crosswalk light on, wait, you know, and you have this voice telling you, wait. If you're talking and gabbing and you're getting into these conversations, or you're getting distracted by like the honking and the traffic, you're going to miss the signal when the guy says walk, right? Light green, walk. Observe in silence. Nurture all that you love. Nurturing, I mean, that's even self. Nurturing the self in that peace, in that silence. Being nurturing towards seeds. See yourself in nature. Right? Observe in silence. Nurture all you love. And see yourself in nature. Your true nature. That authentic self. See your authentic self and be able to observe yourself in silence without judging yourself. Because it is time to reflect. Before making this decision and before going forward into this new structure, or before creating structure in your life, reflect. Take some time to meditate, concentrate, and just be. See the truth. That's how you will see the truth. How you get to the truth of the matter. Being nurturing, observing in silence, reflecting, seeing yourself in nature, and then you will see the truth, and you can understand what direction to go into, because it's your destiny. It's the direction that you're meant to go into. Seek the destiny. See the truth, and then you will find your wet self well on your way to your destiny. But these blocks, man. Something framing in the blocks. It's okay. Dragons again. A new day dawns. Okay? It's a new beginning. It's a new start. It's a new opportunity. Every day you wake up, right? You can and have this opportunity. Respect your boundaries. It's a dragon again, so I'm pulling it again. Respect your boundaries. A new day is dawn. Nurture all that you love. This is dragon energy in a dragon year, and time to ground. And ground yourself into this reality and meditate. Get yourself out of all this emotional stuff and reflect. Okay? So now that we are grounded and we are reflecting and we are taking this opportunity to nurture, love thyself, get into this aspect, right? I mean, change is unavoidable. You're not going to be able to avoid it one way or another. I mean, even if you sit there and do nothing, something is still going to happen. Okay? Between night and day and being and getting yourself into this idea of oneness. Be patient. It's a dragon again. Be patient. See, patience pays. Wait, good things will come. It's going to take time, and you must be quiet and non-judgmental. Feel your feelings. Allow them to pass. Allow them to alchemize. Feel the feelings. Understand what it is that you're really feeling, and so you can get a clear idea of the direction that you want to go in. I can pull one more out of here, and then let's look at these women in science. We'll keep it somewhat brief, because I think there's a lot to reflect on here. I think there's a lot that's coming up for people. Follow the moon. The moon keeps coming. Maybe I'll read to you what follow the moon is, because I'm trying to understand this one as well, right? Moon having to do with emotions, having to do with cycles. Interesting to see what is illuminated at night with the full moon, right? What you can see in the dark. This is 13, follow the moon. It starts out with 3/4 of Gaia's surface is covered in water. Okay, 3/4 is covered in water. 3/4 of these are very emotionally based. 3 out of 4 of these directions to go in are these setups, are these frames that are meant to distract you, or meant to unnerve you, so you can't see the direction that you're trying to go in, like something trying to keep you in the dark. The moon's pull can lift the Earth's oceans at the equator and carry them along in her wake. 2/3 of the human body is also water, and therefore you are also subject to her power. As she waxes and wanes, so do you. Okay, your moods and your reflections are going to be impacted by the things that are outside of you, by these larger forces, by these larger celestial forces, by these larger bodies that are governing the directions that we are supposed to be taking. Take note, follow the moon cycles, and take note of how you think and feel as her light increases and decreases. Take time to explore and understand her influence upon both your body and your emotions. If you're feeling emotional, or if you're feeling these things and you want to find the scientific grounding in this, or the empirical grounding in it, take a note at your emotions, judge them, gauge them, label them, number them, describe them, and then go look at the moon cycles. Go look at astrology if you have to. Go look at the astronomy. Look at where these placements are. Look at where these larger forces are. Look at the frame. If you're caught in the structure, or you want to know or understand the structure better, understand how it was framed and how it was put together, like almost deconstructing as well, like taking off the covers, taking off the walls, so you can see the framing. Maybe there's remodeling happening here too. If you're remodeling, you have to be very conscientious of the framing or else the structure collapses. So your remodeling is going to be based on the foundation and the framing and the structure of the home or the building, right? You're not going to be able to do it exactly the way that you want to, because there's going to be a framing matter that is going to prevent you from creating the unreasonable or the impractical. Let's tuck those over here. We might come back and do one or two more out of the new chapter as we're going into this, but let's check in with our ladies here in our tarot. This is a neat deck. MIT put this one together. So again, there's a coming together or a harnessing of things which once seemed polarized or opposite. Sorry, I'm just looking to see what that picture is. One. If you are on here and you do have a question, feel free to ask or take this opportunity to keep your question in mind, or to hold your question in mind. Maybe this is about overcoming the blocks. Maybe this is how to be more patient, or just tips, insights, something empirical to keep us grounded, to keep us anchored in creating these new structures, these new belief systems. Jane Cookright, we have a physician. Okay. Interesting that she's got a blood bag. And some of our angsts and anxieties come out of this loss of blood, right? But things can be replenished and be replaced. I might just take them off the top, but we'll see. Let's look at Jane first. And then maybe we'll peek in. Annie Jump Cannon, an astronomer. That's going to be important. A physician, an astronomer. Maybe we'll take the naturalist and the ornithologist as well. Maybe we can get into geochemistry. There's geology too. What gives us 4? We'll take the geochemist. Okay. Let's take a look at these 5 ladies and their impacts and how they have shifted things. Maybe it'll give some insight on how to shift things forward too. In being able to overcome these forces that try to keep you back. We'll look at the physician first. Okay, like we're going to the doctor. But if we're going to the doctor, we're not going to be talking to the doctor like we used to talk to the doctor. Okay. We're talking about energetics here. The symbol up top is micro, which has to do with creativity, passion, and fire. Okay, and even out of here in this area, this one, fire, creativity, passion, fire, Princess of Wands, manifesting or trying to create these things, right, through framing or bringing down framing. What is she, 9? So there's a completed element there too, feeling fulfilled and attaining a goal. So how do we attain these goals? Through our creativity. How do we attain our creative, our passionate, and our goals of fire? Work to improve yourself from within and don't overextend yourself. Okay? As above, so below, as within, so without. You are going to be impacted by these forces that are outside of you in the moon cycles, and you have the opportunity to self-navigate. Jane Cook Wright played an instrumental part in the development of chemotherapy in the 40s and 50s. She was one of the first researchers to test the therapeutic effects of nitrogen mustards, the first available anti-cancer chemicals. She was also one of the first researchers to consider folic acid antagonists as treatment for cancer, which continue to be used this day. To this day, Dr. Wright was the forefront of analyzing tumor biopsies to find the most effective cancer drugs. Maybe you have cancer, maybe you're overcoming cancer, maybe that's something literal for you. And finding new ways to heal through that and understanding that. But those growths or those cancerous growths have to do with deprivation as well, deprivation of oxygen, too much mucus within the body, or these things that are trying to overtake. Okay. Let's look at, we'll just go in this order, and then we'll close out. Let's talk about our geochemist. Okay, so we went to the physician, now we're going to the geochemist. This is a macro as well. This has to do with money, work, and earth. She has to do with the page or the pages, excessive doubt or excessive carelessness. Okay. Nurture the self, right? Be very conscientious of where you're being careless and being negligent. Again, that's coming up too. Promote peace where you can, even if others question your motives. Because people are going to be trying to antagonize you. People are going to try to get you riled up and into that sparring place of conflict. We're not trying to fight. We're not trying to argue. We're not going into that. We're creating peace. Okay. Katsuko Sarahashi was a fierce advocate for women's equality in science, the first woman to receive a PhD in chemistry from the University of Tokyo. She went on to conduct revolutionary research in her field, developing novel methods to measure carbon dioxide and later nuclear fallout from atomic bomb tests in the ocean. Sarahashi endured criticism due to both her nationality and gender, but she persevered, and her research and advocacy led to the eventual ban on nuclear weapon testing. She used her experiences to help fellow female scientists in Japan, founding societies to unite and support them. Uniting things, supporting things, we're talking about framing and structures, and that has to do with support, and who are we supporting, and who are we bringing into this structure. And anytime you try to do something new, there's going to be criticism towards it. Anytime you're trying to kind of go against that social norm, there's going to be that conflict and there's going to be that tension, but create peace and create solutions. She found solutions, and now we are no longer being as destructive as we once were. Okay? Let's talk about our naturalist and our ornithologist. This is birds and getting higher perspectives to things. She's still in this macro unit of money, work, and earth. Okay, money, work, and earth. Maybe doing something so new and innovative and overcoming the challenges seems a bit overwhelming. So let's take it back to nature. Stability, structures. Birthing something new. She absolutely has to do with structures. Funny how that happens. Don't let anyone make you feel unwelcome. Instead, beat them at their own game. It's not about winning, it's not about losing, it's not about this conflict, but there are people that are going to try to put you in these positions where they want to win, and they want to play games with you. They want to frame things in such a way that are undermining you, but you don't have to play their game. You can still beat them at their game. Don't let anyone make you feel unwelcome or like you're not supposed to be there. And maybe when, see, there's all this conflict. And when we, where are you? Get to this place, it has this kind of luminous, ominous feeling of like, oh, you're not supposed to be here. Or you can't do this, you can't whatever, you're new, how are you gonna whatever. But if it's your destiny and you feel called to it, or you know you have the right to it, then stand your ground and stay grounded in that. Okay? Frances Hammerstrom paved the way for women in wildlife biology. Even though her parents raised her to become a socialite, Hammerstrom was always drawn to nature and spent childhood partaking in unladylike activities, like teaching herself how to hunt. She went on to become one of the first female conservation biologists. Again, lots about nature and getting out in nature, preserving nature, experiencing the seasons. Like, you can't just go out and experience summertime all the time, or you can't just go out and experience winter all the time. These transitions between seasons are full of all of these opportunities to put ourselves into these positions that can be uncomfortable but yet expose us, or uncover some of these more natural, authentic parts of ourselves, because again, being authentic is coming up here. The research she conducted alongside her husband is credited with saving the greater prairie chicken and many other species in the Wisconsin region. Hammerstrom was an accomplished researcher, conservation advocate, and public educator. She published several books recounting her experiences breaking into a male-dominated field and inviting others to follow her lead. Okay, this is the feminine coming into the masculine. We're getting out of the Piscean, we're going into the Aquarian. We're getting away from these patriarchies, and, well, maybe not quite yet, but we're shifting from this dominant to a peace, love, like, kind of a thing. So let's look to the stars. Let's go into outer space. Let's talk about the astronomer here, okay? Because the answers to what we are looking for are beyond what we already think we know. Okay, they're beyond our current concepts and our current structures and limitations, which is why we're getting ourselves to this new opportunity in order to build something new and to channel something forward, having to do with her power and direction, but also balance, or like that tense point between here and there. Again, like an interstice, which can be a bit unnerving, like a space between, right? So it's not like you just go from 1 to 2. There's like all the fractions in between, and that 1.012562389 that can go on infinitely until we ever get to 2. Okay, we're talking about the astro realm, intellectual, mental realms, truth and air, because we're trying to get to the truth. All of this has to do with the sword of the truth and the truth of who we are, and into these directions. So if we look to the things outside of us and beyond us, then we can find truth, because our emotions aren't truth. Our personal experiences, our individual, that might be our truth, but it isn't the whole truth or the greater picture. And there might not be roots to it, but it's a wholesome feeling, hey? 2 is duality and balance, finding balance in the dual, right? Overcoming personal tragedy is never easy, but it can be a transcendent experience. The transcendent nature, I like the transcending, almost more than transforming, or almost better than evolving, but transcending, okay? Even better than overcoming. In 1893, Annie Jump Cannon contracted scarlet fever, which left her almost entirely deaf. The next year, her mother died, bereft and at a crossroads. Okay, here we are at this crossroads again. Crossroads and structures. Interesting that there are structures around all of these crossroads. She began to work at the Harvard College Observatory. It was there she began her collaboration with Edward Pickering, Wilhelmina Fleming, and Antonia Mori, who were hard at work cataloging the heavens. Cannon began grouping stars into 7 spectral classes based on their color, from blue to red: O, B, A, F, G, K, and M. Using the system, Canon cataloged about 350,000 stars and discovered an additional 300. The current Morgan-Keenan system of star classification is still based on Canon's stellar classes, with a few deviations to account for a star's luminosity. Categorizing things, 7 again is a whole number. Our 7 chakras, our 7 colors, as far as the visual field or the visual spectrum goes and what we can see. And something again, like if you lose one sense, it strengthens the other senses. Or if you're talking too much, you're not going to be able to hear. Or if you can't hear what's going on, the visual intensity is going to be much stronger. There's a lot about unification. This isn't like men versus women. There's a lot in here about working with men and women working together. These opposing sides being able to navigate things together. I don't know what I have on my table, but it's sticky. Sorry. The geologist. Let's look at the geologist. We can pull something out of the conjure cards if we want. If we want to figure out something more potent in catalyzing us forward, we can do that too. But let's come back down to earth for a minute. Okay. Geologist. Underground, undercover. What are we uncovering? This is a 2 as well, which again is duality and balance. Money, work, and earth, balancing the earth. If you're feeling overwhelmed, spend some time outside. Nature. Take a minute, pause, reflect, get out of the structure, get out of the framing, get out of the building, and go out in nature. I don't care what the weather is. Put on a coat, put on something warm, feel. Okay, allow yourself to feel feelings so you can feel yourself in your authentic body and surprise yourself. Okay. Temperature control. People want to be so comfortable all the time. People want to be in a state of pleasure all the time, and it's unrealistic. You're missing something. Yes, it's great to be in those spaces. Yes, it's nice to have that peace, but when we're trying to transcend something, when we're trying to overcome and evolve and do something new and make changes, we have to be willing to be uncomfortable. It's not a bad thing. Okay? It's going to signal new information to you. It's going to bring new information to you that otherwise you wouldn't have gotten. And if you are feeling ill because you're limiting your belief systems or you're not allowing yourself to take in a new perspective or a different perspective, it's holding on to things as if you already know best. And again, I know nothing, okay? Alice Wilson was an outdoorsy child, spending her summer fossils hunting with her family. As the first female geologist hired by the Geological Survey of Canada, Wilson had to fight for the right to pursue a PhD and do field work. She was forbidden from working at remote field sites with her male colleagues, so she made the case that she could work alone in the nearby St. Lawrence Valley. Over the next 50 years, she became the leading authority on local fossils and rocks. When she retired, 5 people had to be hired to replace her. I know exactly how that feels. I know how it feels to be able to be one person doing one job and then upon leaving having to have 5 people replace me, having to have 5 people be able to do my job. And interesting what one person can do, but at the same time in trying to, it's this fight for the right to do it. And I had someone yesterday who was like, we as women in the arts have to fight for a right to be there and have to fight for a right to show up because it's so male dominated, or this male centric sort of thing. And I think this is also in this realm of like, if everyone else is over here doing things, it's okay to be over there doing something by yourself. It's absolutely okay. How does one become the leading authority in something? You dedicate yourself to it. We can do this one too because it came out because it's a physician. We can circle back around, okay? I think this might be more whole and inclusive, and there's something about Egyptian pyramids and energetic sources here too that I think that is really intriguing me at the moment. So I'm curious, and I'm going to look at it. New beginnings, potential for change. New beginnings, okay? And potential for change means change hasn't happened yet, but it can. There's a lot that will change, so how we are going to direct that is going to be very important. Right? Merit-ta. Honest intentions will have a lasting influence. Merit-ta story is one of mistaken identity. Mistaken identity. Interesting. Know thyself, for sure. Authentic stuff, very sure. Being able to stand in your power and fight for your presence and your reason and your logic in a rational way, right? In 2019, Jacob, pardon me, I'm going to mispronounce this, Kwasinski, a medical historian, published findings suggesting the woman Merit-ta, who was mentioned in Old Kingdom records, was confused for Peseshet, overseer of healer women, who was recorded to have lived around 2500 BCE during Egypt's 5th dynasty. 5 again. A potent number indicating change, right? Change is happening, catalyzing big change. Kwasinski found that Kate Campbell Hurd Mead, a medical historian in the 30s who set out to write a definitive history of women in medicine, accidentally combined the details of 2 separate Egyptian women into one. Interesting. So she represents 2 different people in one, or something historically coming through. Seer of healer women. I want to work with more women for sure. Taputi, ancient chemist and perfume maker. There's so much to go into about here with the women in history. Maybe I want to look at Taputi too because she's ancient medicine as well. Micro component A. Base, new beginnings, again, potential for change. History may not preserve the details of your life, but your example where it will endure. It's like the things that are being put down are intentionally wrong, or like even if the framing is wrong or misdirected, it doesn't mean that your impact can't also still be strong. Thanks to archaeologists, we know that the first recorded chemist was a woman named Taputi Belkacem, who lived in Babylonian Mesopotamia around 1200 BCE. Taputi made perfumes for the royal family, and with the help of her research sidekick, a woman who's only been known as Ninuf, since the first part of the name has been lost to history. The technique she developed, turning water, flowers, oil, and lemongrass into aromatic and long-lasting fragrances, are still employed by chemists today. Aside from their cosmetic benefits, her concoctions were also used for religious rituals and medicinal practices, making her an important leader with enduring authority. Temperance is here too, right? Just finding the balance of unifying things, bringing things together. using your senses and smells, bringing in your oils, bringing in your natural herbal remedies into things. Tinctures, I think, are going to be super important for healing these things, especially if you're not feeling well. Ancient rituals come into mind, but having the nurturing and self-care, just coming back to nurturing and self-care in these difficult decisions. Yeah. Okay, I think we can, let's do this first. Let me read to you what the book says about this one, because it's bugging me. I'm curious to know what it has to say. And then we'll pull something out of Conjure. Okay, we'll crack open this nut and allow the things to keep going. Again, now is a good opportunity to ask questions if you have a question for the next deck, or if you have some sort of insight going into this next one. Please hold that in mind, keep that in mind. Let's look at Two Swords in the new chapter. Because we're creating a new chapter, we're starting something new. But there's choices we have to make, and there's battles and duels and arguments, and people just trying to focus. Okay, this is a crossroads moment, a decision you must make yourself, and it's important that you do. The options are clear, but you might not have all the information about the consequences. Despite your anxiety, you're capable and ready to make the choice. Trust your judgment. Okay? Trust yourself. There's all these things that are going to be around you, and all this discomfort that's going to be around you. It's just part of it. You have to trust yourself, nurture yourself, love yourself in this. Okay? Empress, you can do this. Okay? Alright. Let's look into the Conjure. And yes, this is a potent deck. Yes, this is something that is going to give us some insight. So let us get very grounded here. Balance this in. Shuffle this through. I'll do 3 and then we'll close it out here today, okay? Framing and structures. Framing and structures. Framing and structures. What do you need to know for framing and structures? Okay. 3 off the top. 2, 3. 5 came out first, and I don't know that I've really ever gotten this one too much. I don't really know if this one's come forward, if I've really even looked at this one, but it kind of looks like all that red coming out of those cups. Oh, did I just see it? Yep. Hellbender Salamander. Okay. 5 of Diamonds. Hellbender Salamander. Hellbender Salamander. A totem of Appalachian folk magic, the Hellbender was used by conjure folk in the mountains for many conjurations, including that of love and marriage, which is why it foretells such. If the subject of the reading isn't relationship-based, it can also denote good luck. Okay. Reversed. Shows down a breakdown in love, romance turns sour, and having the last laugh at the other. Kind of goes into that, beating someone at their own game. Maybe through new unifications and new commitments. Making commitments. Committing yourself to this new direction. Because there's so much 2 energy in here today. This 2 conflicting. This is a broken bottle. Okay, where are you spades? Both of these are spades here. We have 2 spades and 8 spades. It's like, you make your bed, you're gonna lay in it. Something about rest here as well. Okay, breaking out of habits. getting good rest, nurturing yourself, but also looking to some of these conflicts. Where are you? There you are. 8 spades, strange bed. Let's look at 2 first. Broken bottle, okay? I've been getting a big urge to break glass lately too. I have five of these candles that I've burned through for the last couple of years, and in burning through the Sacred Heart last night and Santo Niño de Tocha. Siempre iluminado tu fe, huh? Always there. I just want to smash glass. I want to break them, release energy. Breaking bottle, like Mazel Tov, or something comes to mind, but something about the action of breaking glass feels kind of important. Shown with the broken bottle, this card denotes fighting, trouble, angry words, separation. See? Be careful of the conflict, be careful of the words, be careful of those arguments, because again, people are going to try to put you into this, and if you sink into the arguments and the conflicts, it's going to lead to separation. It identifies disputes between 2 subjects or within a particular environment. Again, we're talking about framing and structures, so how things are framed or in the context of certain buildings or groups or contexts, things are starting to come apart or unfold. It lies between 2 queens or kings. It shows a fight or separation between people. It's not. It's between a salamander and a bed, so it's just like separation in home life, separation in relationships, things that we thought we knew. It's surrounded by a particular suit. It shows a fight or argument in that environment. So just be mindful of that. Patience phase, wait, good things will come. Sit in this space of peace. And if you're just jumping on late, there's more about these crossroads are coming to this conflicts happening at this crossroads, and needing to wait it out and be silent and not participate and not play into it, and look for the truth and look for the data. Show me the data. Let's see, for hearts, no. Clubs, social platforms. For diamonds, it would be in business or the workplace. With spades, it would be with an enemy. So maybe this has to do with enemies in a workspace, workplace enemies. I don't get so much that it's like love, marriage, those sort of things. I think there are things more external to that. It's framing a structure. So I mean, it could be, especially if there's overlap between work and love life, or if those two are overlapping in some sort of way. If there's confusion between them, then it's going to create conflict. Reverse, the other side of the broken bottle can mean reconciliation or mending. In the words, in certain situations, the problem is repaired. Okay, we can repair problems, we can solve problems, we can create solutions, but not through arguments and conflict and fighting and domination and having to win and all of that. That's not going to give us the information that we're looking for. It's just important not to play into it, because people are going to want to shovel you, and just don't participate. Get above it and beyond it, and just step outside of it. Transcend the need to have to be right, or transcend the need to have to win. Okay, this isn't about winning. You're here to nurture yourself and love yourself and make a commitment to an aspect of transformation. You're making a commitment to your destiny and where it is that you're meant to go. Okay. Strange bed. Old tales say that if you sleep in a strange bed, what you dream will come true. Likewise, the saying is, you made your bed, you'll have to lay in it. This card says exactly that, specifically in regards to bad habits, high tempers, or shouting, alcoholism, other addictions. Alcoholism. conflict because of alcoholism, arguments and fighting because of alcoholism. Alcohol equals spirits, spirits equal bringing in entities and spirits into the body, other things communicating through you, through spirits overtaking. This is also talking about consequences, antecedent behavior, consequence. If you've done something, or if you've, especially if you've done something not right, or it's the hidden things, the hidden truths are starting to come out, the things on the dark side of the moon are being exposed, or like these illusions are coming down and they're being replaced by this empirical aspect, and by what is real and true, not just for you but for all. Hey, this card shows that whatever follows is set to happen unless the ways are changed. Bet is made. This can be in regards to an addiction or simply how a situation will play out. You can cut things off cold turkey. It's fine. You just have to make the decision that you no longer resonate at that frequency. It's resonate at a different frequency. Beam yourself at a different frequency. Feel yourself at a different frequency. And those things aren't going to line up. They're not going to feel right. And you can just stop. As it relates to alcohol stuff, it creates chemical dependencies within the body, and the longer you drink, the more chemically dependent you are on it. So taking those shifts, it's going to be difficult. It's harder to cut out cold turkey. You can make yourself ill, so make sure in positions or you're being guided and directed, or you have something there to replace it, or you're going to send in the discomfort of detox. It's going to be tough and it's going to be uncomfortable. Nicotine, it takes 3 days for the nicotine to get out of your body. Everything else after that's all psychological as far as addictions go. So is it a physical addiction? Is it a psychological thing? Where is that shift? Because here you are at this crossroads and you need to make a decision. This can be in regards to, okay, so how will a situation play out? If it's framed in such a way, like in writing a story, if you're going to frame a story a certain way, there's, it's going to play out a certain way. Reversed. So if we look to the other side, it denotes a return to health and good habits. Okay. You can get to health, you can get to good habits, absolutely you can. You're at a crossroads, why not? It's your belief systems and how you frame it. It shows a way out and a light at the end of the tunnel. If it is pulled for someone in bad ways like this, it says that this ain't the bed they're meant to die in. This isn't the bed you're meant to die in. Okay? There's conflicts and there's new things happening and there's all this difficult stuff that is coming to the forefront, but this isn't the end. You know, making new commitments, it's going to feel like something is dying or something is whatever, and maybe something like an old piece of you has to be released in order for something new to come through. Do you want one more? Should we do one more? I have one here. I'll give it to you. We'll do 5 then, because I don't want to pull. I got you twice. Okay. Let's look at this. Let's talk about the snake in the grass, because there is somebody, again, the framing part of it, something that you're not seeing, or somebody trying to do something without your knowledge, but it's going to be exposed. It's going to be brought up. And it's spades. We're still in the spades. It's our 3rd spade. Okay. Some folks are snakes in the grass. No matter how many times they shed their skin, they're still a snake. The Jack of Spades represents a young man with dark features, dark skin or hair, who has a rebellious attitude and shouldn't be trusted. Paired with the 2 or 8 of diamonds, this would signify gossip or a friend who isn't helpful. It's not paired with the 8 of diamonds. Oh, it is paired with the 8 of diamonds. Because I just pulled that out. signify gossip or a friend who isn't helpful, but their intentions are in the right spot. Somebody may want to help, but please don't go gossiping about other people's stuff. There's something about confidentiality and privacy. I think that is going to be very important. This could also be like an attempt at somebody's life, an attempt to destroy, an attempt to take somebody away. That's not going to come into fruition. I mean, it can be very simple too. Like, people can think that they're helping you, but they're not. Like, every time my mom feeds my dog, it's not helping me. I'm not asking her to do that, but she does it. But then I get frustrated because it throws me off my routine and it throws me off my schedule. You know, it undermines my healthy habits, right? It undermines my ability to nurture. You know, it's enabling in a way, and it's quite uncomfortable. Yeah, the intention in the right spot, but it's not doing what you think it's doing. So let's look at the treasure chest. Something is hidden. Okay, things have been blocked, or whatever. You know, here you are waiting at this crossroads, and there's this big structure kind of blocking. You're just gonna have to be patient as things are beginning to be exposed, and nurture yourself and take care of yourself. And then here comes this treasure chest. Treasure hunting has long been a tradition in the country. Whether you're just hunting small trinkets or rumored gold with a dowsing rod. Rightfully, the 8 of diamonds foretells more money than the 6 of diamonds. It can also be a loss, but also of gossip or idle talk. That's why it's important to be quiet. Don't play into just the conversations that happen, because when you're at this crossroads and things are idling, or you're being patient, or you're getting impatient, then there's that propensity to want to participate in idle gossip or just talk about other people's issues and things as a means to not look at your own BS, right? I think a lot of people who get into the gossip of stuff or whatever do so, or are very critical of other people because they're not willing to look at their own things. Yes, there is some truth, or there are things that need to be talked about that are true, but I mean, if you're going to bring other people into your conversation, especially in regards to an argument, then you want to be careful. Just quit it. Shh, just listen. Okay, listen, feel yourself. Stop trying to get into distractions. In regards to secrets, this will signify that someone has loose lips. Not every ear should be confided in. Loose lips sink ships. What happens when you start running in your mouth? Oh, then you get into this like fucking Joker, then you get into this death, and then things are just horrible, and there's all this awful stuff, and then I don't even know if I want to read those. I don't know if I want to go in that direction, because I just feel like framing and setup, and somebody trying to put you into your you under the grave, or somebody trying to take away these powers and trying to take away from all of this. But it's okay. You're lucky. Things are going to work out. Things are going to be okay should you do the work and not succumb to the difficulties. Okay. Is there anything else in here that I need to talk about, or anything else that we need to address? Or are we ready to close this off for the day? think we're good. Somebody wants to hear from you. If anything, somebody wants to hear from you. They say to be quiet, but somebody wants to hear from you. If you feel called, or if you need to talk to somebody, reach out. If you have any other questions for me, please reach out. If you want a personal reading, please reach out. Anything else? If you want to donate, I don't know, this is set up so you can give stars. You can go to my Venmo, you can go to kelseysweet.com, to my payments page. I think that's all. I think that's it here. You want me to smudge? I will. You can clear, just take an opportunity. We'll do an energetic reset. Here you are at your crossroads, meeting some patience. Patience ways, wait. Good things will come. Consolidate, concentrate. Just be you. I'm gonna crack this window so all this stuff goes out. Sorry about the shot. Anything else? I don't think so. Things have shown up in the space. Edit, and we will talk to you soon. Goodbye.